nice to meet you. Nice suit.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. So let's talk about. I've got some problems to say it. San Junipero.
Well, we would say San Junipero.
San
Like-
Junipero.
Yes, like juniper. Yeah.
So some of the key elements from previous season are just getting realist nowadays. What do you feel if someday the technology, which is in your episode, is becoming real too? Would you like to try it?
I don't know if I would experience it myself. I think it's one of those things. I do think that certainly in our episode, for our characters, it's a positive experience. But I don't know. I think I'd have to see if I was in that situation that they're in. I would have to make that decision. Yeah, it's hard to talk about it without spoiling the story. But I don't know. I would be open to it, possibly.
Yeah. And maybe, do you feel like love can exist in San Junipero, which is not only a city?
I have to. I think I have to believe. I believe in the romance of our episode 100%. Again, it's hard to talk about, how you would want your life to continue and all of that stuff. But yeah, I believe in it.
And how does it feel to work on such thought-provoking show, and how do you feel when you read the script for the first time? It was tough?
It was amazing, I have to say. It was one of those scripts that I read and I got it on an email on my phone, and I started to read it on my phone, and I ended up reading the whole script on my phone, which is kind of quite Black Mirror, really.
Yeah.
And it was a real page turner. I fell in love with the characters, and it was just such a refreshing story. It was completely unpredictable. I had no idea, where it was going, which was great. I think, for audiences of Black Mirror, it's challenging and thought-provoking in a good way. I think it doesn't just play to your, sedative kind of television. It's much more refreshing, and as I say, it makes you think. And that I really loved. I just thought it was completely original. So, it was a no-brainer. I had to do it.
Maybe, how did you prepare for a role which is in a one-shot episode, like a movie?
Yeah, it really did feel like we were working on a film, and the director Owen Harris is so great. And in terms of preparation, I listened to a lot of 80s music. 80s music features so heavily in the episode, and it's so evocative of that period. And then you get into the costumes and the shoulder pads and the big hair, and my character is quite an extrovert, so it was fun to play around with that kind of stuff. And it was a really quick shoot. It was only about 14 days in London and Cape Town, so we didn't really have much time for rehearsal, so we just sort of had to jump in. There were a few sort of dance rehearsals, which was fun, and we did a table read, but beyond that it was more like just kind of get in there and do it. And the writing is so good, the dialogue that Charlie writes is so real, and it sort of has its own rhythm, and that really helps.
Maybe what's the key elements that you want the viewer understand from the episode, the lesson?
Well, I think, like all Black Mirror episodes, I think they're open to interpretation, and I think that everybody will bring their own experience and have their own debate. What I love about it is it does sort of provoke a conversation. Would you go through this experience if you had the option? Is this potentially possible? But I also think, it brings up ideas of what is a soul? And, how can you manufacture a soul, or, all of those kind of things. And for me, those are quite big and deep questions. But at the same time as having these big things to think about, it's also really romantic, really fun, and a really vibrant episode. So I hope people will feel uplifted by it.
Maybe, how did you think about being a young girl, but with some so much regrets and memories in mind. In the way you look in the episode, we feel it.
Well, for me, again, it's, I guess, about the idea of, you know, having this coming of age story, you know, and how old is your soul? And I think, you know, you can have somebody, you know, with an old body and a young soul, and a young body and an old soul. And that's fascinating to me in general. So yeah, it was a really meaningful journey that my character goes on.